I know you had your Color Purple opinion, which is that, a Jewish man can't do this story and an Italian man shouldn't be directing a movie about the Holocaust. But, we have plenty of people who don't have to be
I think
something.
Spielberg was like, he wanted to do it, but he's like, if I do this, this is really digging into my stuff. I mean, this is basically like someone kind of going into their own trauma and being afraid.
Yeah, you also have to remember that Spielberg, up until that point in time, he was not a practicing Jew. He has said in interviews that up until when he made
he presented as Jewish, but he wasn't really an observant Jew.
Right. He was nowhere near observant. Like, he was just, yes, I'm Jewish, but I'm not like a practicing Jew. I can say these words. I am married to a Jew, lest we forget. So, but like I said, when he made Schindler's List, it got him more in touch with his Jewish nature and everything like that. And so at the end of the day, I'm glad he made it, because he needed to make it. He really did. Scorsese probably is the only Scorsese, and I told this to Lawler, Scorsese is literally the only other person who could have made that movie other than fucking Spielberg. Only those two guys could have made that movie. Only those two guys.
I think he would have been a better choice, because he would have been less sentimental. The movie wouldn't have been 3 hours long. He would have been completely ruthless with the material. He was a much harder director, and he could direct violence much better back then. As it stands, Schindler's List is an okay movie up until the last 10 minutes, last 10, 15 minutes. And also the little girl with the red coat. We don't need these metaphors that are hitting us over the head, this visual symbolism with a sledgehammer. And you don't have to be attacked by a shark to direct Jaws. You don't have to be abducted by an alien to do Close Encounters. And you certainly don't need to serve in World War II to direct 1941. Anyone can direct anything if they can see the material. If it's right there on the page, and you make the movie and you do it with your own vision and your own style.
You know what?
Unfortunately, the sentimentality of Spielberg, we don't want sentimentality in the story of Schindler's List. If you read the book is an amalgamation. It's composite. It's not a completely faithful story. It's not completely true. There are a load of inaccuracies. He layers on the Spielberg magic, and we don't really need the magic for the kind of story he's telling. It's a black and white film. It's made comparatively, I guess, on a smaller budget, but it's made in a kind of handheld way. It's not done with all the glitz and glamour of Hollywood.
Well, this was Spielberg's first really, like, I'm going to make an important movie. Even Color Purple could be considered an important movie, but it's a well-known, well-regarded book. That's like, we want to see the movie version of this this important novel. Whereas Schindler's List is more just sort of like, we're going deep into a heavy subject. And, it was a movie he needed to make, but this dovetails perfectly into, and this may be on Freilich's list, is Saving Private Ryan losing
what that was. We're gonna save that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to that. We're gonna go back to that. We're gonna go back to that
because I have some thoughts. Okay.
Oh, we all got thoughts on that, but we're gonna go back to that, but not now. But as that stands, it's like Schindler's List deserved it. I mean, Lawler, I know you're not going to agree with me on this one. Schindler's List deserved everything it fucking got. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. I tell everybody, I only have 6 favorite movies. They go, why do you have 6? I'm like, because these are the 6 I know are my favorite. Anything else after that, I can, throw it in rotation. I can say it's my favorite for the moment, but then it's something can get swapped out.
There seemed to be a lot of kind of societal pressure to like the movie. And they even made a joke about it on Seinfeld, about how you had to like the movie. Otherwise,
My wife has still not seen it. Okay. And she has tried. She's tried.
Probably can't.
But it's too hard for her. She has already told me it's too hard for her. It's not because she thinks it's boring. Well, she thinks the subject matter is too hard for her.
Yeah, I know. I figured that. But let me ask you. There's another movie that was also up for Best Picture. Which one would you rather watch over and over again, Schindler's List or The Fugitive? Me, I watch The Fugitive all the time.
Schindler's List.
You would watch 3 hours. Schindler's List, black and white.
For me, Schindler's List is a watch it once, feel it, and then put it in your brain, and it's in a section of your brain. Whereas The Fugitive, you can watch it at any time. It's great.
Fugitive
what I
is
love
an
about
awesome movie, and it's
what I
one
love
You
about
see, that's
I go
I'm
back to
sorry. That's
constantly.
you guys. I'm sorry. That's you guys. Okay, and I'll even put a big addendum on this one compared to you two. Okay, I'm from fucking Chicago. I know who Andy Davis is. Okay, Andy Davis shot all his shit in Chicago. Okay, this is a movie like the Blues Brothers. This movie was made on my home fucking turf. Okay. That being said, I love The Fugitive. I think it's a phenomenal fucking movie. Unfortunately, the movie can't be made anymore.
What do you mean?
Because why? DNA evidence, that kind of shit. The movie
okay.
shouldn't even exist because DNA evidence would have exonerated Richard Kimball
that's why
for what happened with his wife.
But it's good to have a product of its time, because then you learn a lot more about your own history when you see that. When you see how advanced DNA has gotten, I mean, they didn't even consider it in the movie. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. It's a lot of fun. They went through hell to make it. They didn't get everything that the whole. There's a video on YouTube about all the problems that they had to deal with making The Fugitive. And they had a script that was incomplete. They were rewriting it on the fly.
That's what I love about it. That's what I love about it. It is accidentally a great movie.
Accidentally.
It should have been a fucking disaster. The way that they made it, the time frame they made it in, how they were finished, and then it was like how they did it. Like the director, like Andrew Davis, God bless him.
Andy Davis was robbed not even getting a nomination for that movie. It is him. He is the one who put all that together.
Yeah, that's not how movies should be made. It was made very slapdash.
Instead, they threw in a what the fuck nomination of Robert Altman for Shortcuts, a movie that I really do enjoy, and yes, he should be credited for that. But that's the only nomination in there that's out of the way that didn't get multiple nominations was Shortcuts. The others were Remains of the Day, which is a great movie. I like that one too. It gives me a misty eye to see Christopher Reeve walking around. Jane Campion for The Piano, another fine movie. I don't know if that's not deserving any nomination. It's a fine movie, but it's not.
Maybe this.
And then there's In the Name of the Father.
Was Anna Paquin?
Well, I was going to say, hold on.
Anna Paquin.
Jane Campion eventually did win an Oscar, though.
She
did win one.
But yeah, the movie is mainly Anna Paquin's wonderful, and she's the best thing you can say about the movie. Holly Hunter's also good, but she's good in everything, so it's not really, someone was always bound to get an Oscar from that,
So are you guys ready for a hot take?
It's all hot takes tonight. Okay.
Oh, this is going to be a big hot take, though. This is my number 6, I believe. This is my number 6.
With Fort Fairlane?
Yeah, right. How about Gladiator winning over Traffic?
Okay, let's go.
Traffic was the better movie.
Okay.
It's not even Traffic was the better movie. Crouching Tiger was the better fucking movie.
Well, I got a hot take right now. Gladiator 2 was actually halfway decent.
So I'm told. But you know what? I didn't like the first one, so why the fuck am I gonna watch the second one?
True. I would say if you liked the first one, you'll like the second one, although it's not near as good. But if you didn't like the first one, you probably won't like this.
And that's why I'll never watch it. So, but I mean, do we share the same opinion here? Do either one of us think that Traffic or Crouching Tiger should have won over Gladiator?
Possibly Crouching Tiger, not Traffic. I like Aaron Brockovich better. And I like Chuck a lot too, but
I really like Gladiator though.
Gladiator, I that was the only one I saw in the theater. Actually, the others I saw, I waited for video.
I saw it. I'm like, actually, my opinion of it when I saw it, because I know Roger Ebert only gave it like 2 stars or something.
Yes, he did, and I agreed with him. It was all style, no fucking substance.
I already knew his review, so I went in, but I wanted to see it, and I'm like, you know what? I think Roger Ebert's wrong on this. This was a big Hollywood. This is one of the few good Ridley Scott movies, because he's usually like about 1 out of 5 of his movies are even halfway decent.
That's why I wanted to see it in the theater, because I knew I was going to get because it's Ridley. I knew I was going to get a nice visual feast.
And it was
That's really what I wanted.
It was the 1-2 punch of Gladiator, and then
Traffic is a lot of herky jerky camera movement. Steven Soderbergh, just being herky jerky, and he tended to do that for the remainder of his work throughout the 90s
I
or the
remember
2000s.
Steven Spielberg was like threatening, like, I'm gonna stop making movies, and then he just kept making movies. Remember that?
He's Soderbergh is I enjoy his work too, but he is very
I
herky
like his small
jerky.
movies too. I like his small. Give me like the Limey,
Limey, ooh,
No,
wow.
Limey's
Can you
great.
imagine that movie? That was
Oh,
85
no.
minutes.
I'll give you a better one I like a lot. Fucking Logan Lucky.
That's one of his
Logan
newer ones. I haven't
Lucky
seen that.
is so. Oh, dude,
the most
if you haven't
recent-
seen Logan Lucky, you gotta see that movie.
No.
Holy shit, is that movie fucking
What have I
great?
seen recently of Soderbergh? I've seen.
Because
I couldn't. There was one movie he made that I think it was Burn Without Reading. I couldn't sit through it. I was so bored by it.
Oh yeah, no, that was the Coens. That was the Coens.
Oh, sorry. It wasn't that. It was the one that had the same cast.
he recently did a movie. It was like it went right to HBO Max. It was called Kimmy, where it was like basically it had.
Well, he's got another one out called Presence, which is like
yeah.
an independent movie. Yeah, like Presence
he
only.
cheap movies. He doesn't make big Hollywood movies anymore. He makes these like cheap, $5 million movies now.
Yeah, but he's Soderbergh. He can do that.
He can do that. Well, at least he's not making that Kafka movie, that nobody understood.
Yeah. Oh God, fucking Kafka. That movie was fucking trash.
That was the post-Sex Lies and Videotape movie where he's like, here's money, go make a movie. And then he makes Kafka, and we're like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah, what the fuck? And it doesn't even come out on DVD or Blu-ray on yet. Fucking
sorry,
stuck
it was
on Laserdisc,
I'm sorry.
God's sake.
Okay, the movie that I was talking about was The Informant. That's the one.
Oh, that movie wasn't even all that great.
Couldn't sit
That
through it.
movie
But
was
we
okay.
did talk about Contagion. That was a fun movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. That's a good movie.
But I guess everything after that, I just don't give a shit about. I really don't. Everything after this is like Magic Mike and
Solaris was pretty good. Solaris was
Aaron
pretty
Brockovich.
Same year, Anderson. What is it? Aaron Brockovich and Traffic. Same year. He actually got. Yeah, he was a double nominee for Aaron Brockovich and Traffic, as if memory serves correct.
Oh, I want to. Before I forget, I want to say this before I forget. Oscars that somebody won that really shouldn't. Sandra Bullock in the long side, the whatever that fuck the.
The sad part is my wife will fight you tooth and fucking nail on that. Michael Orr from Baltimore Ravens, the guy who ended up being like the big fucking. I don't even know the position he played, but he ended up playing for because it turned out the movie was total bullshit. None of that stuff fucking really happened. So. I mean, but Anderson, you're looking at it after the fucking fact, okay? But I agree with you. It's like Sandra Bullock is the type of actress that really doesn't need to win an Oscar.
Put her in while you were sleeping, and we'll watch that. And we'll
Sandra Bullock. You know what? As far as I'm concerned,
fuck her. She should have won for Gravity. Was she nominated for that?
Yeah. Yeah,
for me, there's only one movie, and it's Speed, and that's the only one because she is the one.
Demolition Man, bro.
It was okay. It was okay, but it wasn't really her. It wasn't her movie. It was Stallone more than anything, and also it was Wesley Snipes, and her and Benjamin Bratt are kind of like supporting characters. She's very cute and everything, but Speed is the one where she has such a wonderful performance and a personality, and she really kind of saves the movie from just being us looking at Keanu Reeves. She's the reason for the movie's success. I think.
While I'm taking my lumps, I will defend Speed 2. It is not terrible.
I won't even fucking defend Speed 2. And this is a movie that Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel both fucking gave 2 thumbs up to. I can't defend that. Here's what I'll defend. I will defend Willem Dafoe as the fucking bad guy. That's as far as I'll defend it. That's as far as I'll defend it. Now that we've pissed and moaned about Sandra Bullock, I think.
Where are we? Number 7, number 8, number 6?
Number 6 or number 5 or wherever we're at. I think you guys are going to love this hot take. LA Confidential should have beat the brakes off of Titanic.
No. But close.
No.
Again,
LA Confidential was the better fucking movie.
We're talking about a movie that comes along and is something everyone can agree is incredibly entertaining or something like that. LA Confidential, it's an okay movie. It only plays for a specific set of an audience. With Cameron, you're getting it's a chick flick, but it's also a Cameron movie. So it's like two perfect things. And then you have LA Confidential, which is a great thing for people that are really into films and everything. And then also the time period, they do these kinds of things. It was kind of like Chinatown. You know how Chinatown was? It was a period piece. It takes place in California. There's corruption. There's murder. It's like a part of an audience that is very small in comparison to the audience that enjoyed Titanic.
I could totally see you if you had a son, you would have named them Rollo Tomasi. Rollo Tomasi Lawler.
No, too Italian. I'm from Ohio. We don't. What is Rolo? You know what a Rolo is? It's a caramel candy with chocolate on it.
I know, it's this weird secret name that he says right before he dies, and then it like opens up the plot.
Everything about movies that win Best Picture, like I said, most of it is because of engineering, marketing, promotion, and also maybe a little bit of politics, especially these days, a little bit of politics.
Yeah, I think like, first it starts off with the art. It's like the whatever the pretentious artist makes an art, and then it gets to the marketing people like, oh, we can sell this to this group, we could do this, we'll cut this movie down, we don't like this, and then before it's like it goes through the ringer. It usually doesn't go through unmolested, and usually when a movie goes through completely unmolested, it's usually like, what the fuck was that?
It's safe. It's the safe bet. Okay, I got a couple of examples for you. Going back to 1980 and moving forward, Kramer versus Kramer wins the Best Picture over Apocalypse Now. Ordinary People beats Raging Bull, and then Chariots of Fire winds up beating out something that's even far more obvious, which is Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, and even Reds. You could even throw Reds in there.
I can see why Raiders didn't win, just because there was a very anti-Spielberg.
But it was also nominated for Best Director for the movie as well. So instead they go for Chariots of Fire, which is like one of these what the fuck movies. But it is a what the fuck movie more than anything. It's a very kind of British and O-I-O.
Well, okay. Well, this brings a point to like, it's always that realism or a biopic will always win over fiction. That's usually how it goes.
Even though if the biopic is completely tampered with and changed and distorted and made to be more entertaining than it is, you know, that kind of thing. Well, it's a Christian and a Jew, and they are enemies because of their religion, but they become friends as they're racing, and that's really it. That's all it is. It's like Moonlight. You know, Moonlight, I don't understand why the movie got all those awards until I figured it out when I watched it. And it's just about two black kids that had a homosexual experience, and that's all. For some reason, they thought that was worthy. But it goes on for 2 hours. And you're like, what's the big fucking deal? Oh, I get it now.
I think that's when we're getting into Hollywood being what sort of the stereotype of what Hollywood is. I think we're getting into that area of like, because the weirdness quotient has turned up in Hollywood, I think.
1983, the Oscars that were presented, you have Gandhi was a big winner. And the nominees were E.T., Missing, Tootsie, and The Verdict. And Missing is a great movie, but it really doesn't belong on the list. The other three are fantastic, incredible movies. You could watch them over and over again. Gandhi, I sat through and I was like, my God. The credits were 15 minutes long. That was the first time I noticed that credits started getting really fucking long.
That was for me, it was a watch way later, like literally like the mid 2000s. And I watched it and I'm like, that was a really good movie.
We saw it on cable and there was like a 5-minute intermission between, I guess. Yeah. Because people were just so gripped by the story. But the thing is, Ben Kingsley's wonderful. It's a well-made movie, but it's not. I mean, it's like, this is 3-hour movies. This is what 3-hour movies used to be. They used to be these enormous.
All right. Can I finally make my interjection? I had to look it up. Remember how we said like where movies based off real life versus like a fiction movie or real life is always going to win. Okay. The one that I wanted to say was Eddie Redmayne winning over Michael Keaton for Birdman.
Oh, that's woke bullshit, and I'm not one to say that.
Michael Keaton, what is it? The Theory of Everything, where he played Hawking.
Oh, Theory of Everything. I thought it was the. Oh, I'm
not
thinking
the Danish girl. Not the Danish girl.
He won for that one too, though. Didn't he?
No, he did not. He did not. He won for The Theory of Everything, but all of us, like even me and all my friends, we were all pulling for Michael fucking Keaton We all wanted him to win because we all thought he deserved it. I mean, at least Birdman got Best Picture, Best Director. It got what it deserved. But like Michael Keaton, he deserved it more than fucking Eddie Redmayne did.
Like this.
Can you both agree with me that you think maybe E.T. should have gotten Best Picture?
Yes.
That's one.
Yes, over Gandhi. Over Gandhi. Fuck yeah. Over Gandhi.
Fuck yeah, exactly. That's Anderson.
I'm
that's our pop culture wave right there. Our pop culture wave was E.T.
I'm in the
Gandhi.
mindset of the because remember, at the time it's a little. The problem is like now it's a little too diverse. At the time it wasn't diverse at all. It was just a bunch of crusty old white men, and I can see why they would have voted for that as opposed to E.T. For a lot of them, they probably didn't even get it. They probably didn't even understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the mindset of why that was. Now, as far as movies go, I would say it's a tie. But if I was a voter, I would probably be like, I mean, I'd have to watch both of them at the same time, but I'd be like, you know what? This E.T. might be a better movie, but this feels more of an important movie, more of an.
See, that's okay. That's the problem. There it is. You just said it. You said the magic word, important.
Okay.
It has to feel important. It has to, and it's part of Hollywood is just jerking itself off, saying, "Oh, look at how important we are. Look at how observant we are." This was the whole thing about, I guess maybe you want to call it virtue signaling back then, where white people want everyone else to feel as though they know that you matter, that they care about the subject. So Gandhi gets the big awards. Yes, it's a wonderful achievement, but it was how many? I haven't seen Gandhi since the first time I saw it, which was in 1984 on cable TV on HBO.
Okay.
I have no desire to see it again. We just watched E.T. again a couple of months ago, last September. You know, we're going to keep watching it. It's a wonderful movie, but the thing is, okay, you're going to hate this. You're going to hate this because I'm going to blow you guys away with these 2 years, 82 and 83. For 82, The Thing should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Let me interject.
One more. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Because again, these were the movies that mattered to the younger generation.
Younger generation.
I'm going to interject.
Oh, and Blade Runner. Hello, Blade.
Okay,
that
was my interjection.
I'm sorry.
Here's my interjection. For the love of God, we all know that Blade Runner and The Thing are the two greatest movies from 1982. The year I was fucking born, and we all know that if there was a litigious society and we could have voted for them to win any award, they all would have won. But let's be realistic here. Richard Attenborough himself came up on stage and flat out said, "I thought Steven Spielberg was going to win this thing."
And that's why he cast him as John Hammond.
That's
welcome
goddamn
to Jurassic
right.
Park.
Because even
at least Blade Runner got a
knew.
nomination for visual effects.
Yeah, Attenborough fucking knew. Like, yes, I made Gandhi, but goddamn, this fucking little short Jewish glasses guy fucking outclassed me in every way, shape, and form. And how I won is a mystery to me.
Take this Oscar, Stephen.
Get
the fuck up here and take this Oscar.
Let me flip.
Well, Blade Runner got 2 nominations, but The Thing didn't even get 1, and not even for makeup.
And at the very fucking least, it should have gotten a makeup nomination. That right there is, and a year prior, what happens a year goddamn prior? Rick fucking Baker wins for An American Werewolf in London. Who was who was his teacher? Who was his student? Fucking Rob Bottin.
Yep.
1 year fucking later, The Thing should have, at the bare goddamn minimum,
when this is when the visual effects and the makeup were coming together and they were handmade and it looked wonderful. This is when it was really starting to become very realistic looking right there.
We're talking about Spielberg. And I want to get to it. I know it maybe you still want to talk about this later, but we're talking about like important movies. Okay, now you could flip this and say Saving Private Ryan was a much more important movie.
We're gonna flip that later. Let's keep that out of the conversation. That's the big one for the end. That's our end.
Ceremonies on this. Okay, I got half.
Well, actually, I have. There is another big one. We have to get to Gump. Eventually, we're going to talk about Gump.
Gump.
Hold on. I'm going to let you guys bitch about that because we've already talked about that. But let's keep it somewhat relevant. Or if you want to talk about Gump, fucking talk about Gump. Go ahead. I don't.
Well, I want to talk about.
Go ahead. Make your point, Anderson, because I'm about to blow up the internet.
Okay. It is, I guess it is the Gump versus Pulp Fiction. And maybe you could put in the whole thing about full retard.
He said the whole word. He said the whole word.
Well, look, I'm gonna enjoy my free speech while I have it, asshole. Okay. Now, I think
the whole word.
That's right. I said the whole word. So I think, as far as if you compare the two movies, Forrest Gump has the more broad appeal to more people. Like, I think a lot of people are going to like Pulp Fiction and go, "Oh, that was awesome. This is a breath of fresh air."
I'm not ready for the Forrest Gump conversation yet.
But I think, for my money, I can sit down and I can watch Forrest Gump and I can have some actual emotion in my heart, which is very rare because I am cold and dead inside most of the time. And I will watch Forrest Gump, and it's a great. It's what they call a 4-quadrant movie. It covers all the bases. Everybody loves it except for the people that are assholes. And when a Pulp Fiction is a breath of fresh air, is an awesome movie. Is it a better movie? Okay, then it becomes a part of personal taste. For my personal taste, I'll pick Forrest Gump, but it's really, really close because I also like my, sort of out of nowhere kind of interesting movies. So that's my take. But I think the Forrest Gump, it did win, and I think it should have won.
Well, let me chime in. I'm gonna chime in real quick. My favorite movie of all time is the fucking Shawshank Redemption. All right, everybody knows this. It's my all-time favorite movie. Do I think it deserved to win it all? I really don't know. But what we've talked about this. It's like Forrest Gump literally is just the product. Okay, yes, it's a product of its time, but what it also represents, it's just because of what it represented. More or less, it was the last of the old hat, because Bob Zemeckis was one of those guys who was working in Hollywood, from 1978 on upwards. He was Spielberg's protégé. He was all that kind of stuff. And yes, it literally represents the last of the old hat, because after this, outside of Spielberg getting it for Saving Private Ryan, and maybe even more to a better thing, Scorsese getting it for The Departed, most of these people that won after the fact, they were like first, second, maybe third timers out. Zemeckis was straight old hat. And do I think he deserved it for a better movie? Yes, but I'm happy that he just got it in general. I think he honestly deserved it for fucking Roger Rabbit.
When it comes to Zemeckis, I see him as being a little bit more than a Spielberg protege, and I think there was a lot of politics involved in the Forrest Gump wins, and I don't think they were giving the Oscars on that basis. I think they were giving it because it had to do with certain deals and the kind of power that Spielberg wielded. Okay. And he put out his feelers, and he had Zemeckis basically just get the Oscar for that.
You were alive, and I was alive, and even Freilich was alive around the time Forrest Gump came out. It was a national phenomenon, and it was everybody that
went. No, it wasn't. It was not a national phenomenon. It didn't become that until they started rolling out the campaign for the Oscars. Then people started when the movie was released. It sort of came. And it was not that big yet. It became big.
The highest grossing film of 1994. Everybody saw it. Everybody was doing it. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody would go and
hell, I didn't even see it in the movies, and everybody I knew didn't see it. We were all talking about 3 movies that year. We were talking about Pulp Fiction. We were talking about Shawshank, and we were talking about Ed Wood. Those are the 3 movies we were talking. Nobody cared about Forrest Gump until the nominations started rolling out.
You were hanging out probably behind the dumpster smoking with the bad kids, probably.
No, I was not. I wasn't even smoking yet. I didn't start smoking until a couple of years later. But no, still. The point was we didn't really care. I mean, it just sort of looked like goody two-shoes, cookie cutter crap. It looked like magic. It looked like, kind of Spielbergian. It was that was the problem with the movie. Zemeckis was always known as a clever filmmaker. He made I Want to Hold Your Hand. He made Used Cars. Those were cover movies on small budgets. Then he made Romancing the Stone, thanks to Michael Douglas, who selected him to direct the movie. That became a big hit. And then he made Back to the Future. These were the movies that we came to recognize from Zemeckis.
Forrest Gump was an innovative film. He put him in different
No,
historical.
it wasn't. This is the problem. Woody Allen made a movie
Oh,
10
hey,
years
hey,
before called
old
Zelig.
guys.
Zelig
Hey.
is what Forrest Gump rips off, basically.
It does it better.
And Zelig does it better.
Does it
Are you kidding?
funny?
The visual
Zelig
effects
does
in
it
Forrest
funny.
Gump look terrible.
Forrest Gump, I'm going to agree with Lawler to a point. I had heard nothing about the movie until, yes, the big awards push, which just so happened to be around the time I strolled into Kmart in 1995, and my mom bought it for me on VHS. It was a sell-through title. I bought it on the strength of Bob Zemeckis because I was a big Back to the Future fan. So I'm going to agree with Lawler to a point. The movie did become more known because of its Oscar push. I would have never seen Pulp Fiction, which I saw a year later on pay-per-view, which I rented, had it not been for the big awards push that it got. Okay? Unfortunately, I saw Forrest Gump first, and when it won, I was happy. But when I saw Pulp Fiction, that's when my mind changed. But I wouldn't take away the victory of Forrest Gump because while neither one of you, or maybe even so Lawler, may not like the movie, yes, the CGI compared to 31 years ago, yes, the CGI and all the shit they did is antiquated by today's standards. But what they did 30 years ago was nothing short of amazing. But I don't like Woody Allen. I could give a shit about it.
But it is the same premise of putting a character in old film, and they did an incredible job, a much more realistic job with that movie without Industrial Light and Magic.
Let me tell you why. Let's tell you why I would go, because this was 94, 93, 90, all in the 90s. It was the Siskel and Ebert recommendations that would get me to go to the theater. And
but that was all. But dude, hold on, Anderson. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm sorry, but that's the one thing we all have in common. That's all of us. Okay,
yeah.
You guys may be 10, 11 years older than me in retrospect, but that's the one thing we all love is our Siskel and Ebert recommendations. How do you think I saw Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, Shawshank, all those fucking movies?
I had a couple
because
of
we
those.
all watched because there are a shitload of movies we would have never seen if not for those two guys. Okay,
they praised Forrest Gump. They like, this is a great American film. 2 thumbs up, way up, 4 stars.
Yeah,
and
Jesus,
this is what got me to go to the theater. Now
I couldn't get over that.
It was like it took a while for it to get to like local theaters, and by the time it was playing like here in America in theaters, there was already like a Japanese import laser disc.
All right. Well,
so,
right.
Can I share my Pulp Fiction experience with you very quickly? The first time I saw it was for free. I saw it at a free preview. It was offered. I went to get I went to Coconuts record store in Midtown Manhattan to get an autograph signed by the band Aerosmith. They signed pictures for free back then. They used to hand them out, and I got to meet them, and I met their bouncer, who was a very nice guy too. And at the door, they handed out free passes to Pulp Fiction. The movie had not been released yet. I started hearing about Pulp Fiction on the radio. I started hearing about it through alternative media sources.
Because it won the Palme d'Or before that, right?
I heard about it from Film Threat magazine and places like that. And then I went to see it, and I was absolutely blown away. And I went to see it again and again and again. And the momentum built up. The momentum built up in a very homegrown, sleeper kind of way, and it wound up becoming a huge hit on a very low budget.
You were in New York at this time, right?
This was New York, yes.
Yeah,
you're talking about, and people, I went to record stores and they were like, do you have the soundtrack to Pulp Fiction yet? He says, no, it's not coming out yet. I want to have it. People wanted the soundtrack. They wanted everything to do with that movie. So when you're comparing Pulp Fiction, something that was almost homegrown from an unknown director, he made a kind of a sleeper cult hit with Reservoir Dogs, which was the momentum was getting bigger for that. And then Pulp Fiction comes out, and you are at the beginning of this incredible career. And you're seeing this movie, and it's blowing. You should have heard the howling and the laughter and the reactions to everything in that free preview that we saw. And you know what I got? Okay, You're going to love this, Sprelick. When I was there at the Beacon Theater, it was at the Beacon Theater that I saw it. They handed out free passes to another movie. That movie was The Chase, starring Charlie Sheen. So I got to see that one for free too.
Yes.
I mean, and I still have the program. I still have the programs for both Pulp Fiction.
Fuck your couch.
I have three.
Oh,
I have
fuck your
three
couch.
programs. I have three programs. I have Pulp Fiction, The Chase, and I have Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet. Because
You know
they
what?
used to hand out
I
passes for shit.
I at least have the program for The Hateful Eight.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I saw
in the
it-
original
because
70
I saw
millimeter,
it-
right?
Yeah, because you're goddamn right and saw it in 70 millimeter. What I will tell you is how much, again, I'm the younger boy compared to you guys, but what I will say is this. Around the same time, I had both soundtracks. I had the Forrest Gump soundtrack, and I
Really?
had the Pulp Fiction soundtrack.
The fucking
And I
Jackson
had the
Brown
Pulp
running on
Fiction.
empty. Every song that had to do with running and the Nike and the product placement and the beard. And
Okay, how about, hey, fuck stick. How about I had it on cassette before I had it on CD? How about that?
No! As a matter of fact, I still have my Pulp Fiction soundtrack on tape, on cassette tape over there. I was looking at it. I
just realized like, the interesting thing about Forrest Gump is, okay, so that comes out in 94. Most of the history that he goes through, people remember. It'd be like us remembering stuff that happened in the 90s. It's
I
like,
suppose, yeah, if you want to look at it that way.
Most of the stuff that's happening to him is like most of when he's a kid. It's like when he's actually like Tom Hanks and he's a grown up. It's already like in the 60s.
But
that's only like 30 some years removed from 94.
I have to do this. I can't believe I have to do this, but I have to say that when you look at, I don't look at Forrest Gump. Last time I saw it 2 years ago, I wanted to show it to Regan, and she was just, well, she just kept telling me Jenny's a rapist. But also that basically Pulp Fiction started a movement, and everybody, it set off an incredible tidal wave of independent film and a look and a style about the 90s. Forrest Gump did not do that. Forrest Gump was just sort of,
because it's a one-of-a-kind movie, that's why.
Let me give the younger guys comparative. You old fucks, I'm sorry.
You 42-year-old, go ahead.
What?
Yeah,
God damn it. Fuck you.
Let me give the younger analysis here. The problem is Pulp Fiction spawned off a shitload of cloners.
It did, but
okay. But there were some. But hold on, there were some good.
Nobody was rushing to imitate Forrest Gump, though. But nobody was rushing to imitate.
No, but you're absolutely right. Nobody wanted to make the next Forrest Gump. Nobody wanted to make the next Shawshank Redemption. Ironically enough, the guy who wanted to make the next Shawshank Redemption made the next Shawshank Redemption. It was 5 years later with the fucking Green Mile.
And not as good. Not as good.
Nowhere near as good.
It was like if Spielberg directed a Stephen King.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like that's how influential. Like that's the key word we're looking for here, guys. Okay, is influential.
And I can watch Pulp Fiction tomorrow. I'm not going to watch Forrest Gump ever again as long as I live.
Look, Tarantino went off and said, you know what? I'm not going to make a clone of him. I'm going to go make Jackie Brown and piss everybody off. And that's great.
What am I going to do? I'm going to make, he is a white man went and made his own blaxploitation movie. And what's sad is he made a better blaxploitation movie than most black directors, or not even black. Fucking Larry Cohen.
Larry Cohen is the only one I can think of who did that.
R.I.P. Larry Cohen. He's like the only other guy who could make a great blaxploitation flick. Okay, but that's the point is, okay, we're talking about influence. Okay, that's the thing about Shawshank, and that's the thing about Forrest Gump. Yes, they were good movies, but they weren't influential. For Pulp Fiction, everybody and their fucking mother wanted to be the next goddamn Tarantino.
But that's when I became disillusioned. I started becoming disillusioned about the Oscars when it looked like throughout the night that it was going to be Forrest Gump and not Pulp Fiction, or even Shawshank. Shawshank got nothing. It was so strange to see.
But
that's what really disillusioned me. I'm glad we talked about this because I finally got it out of my system.
Dude, but that's the thing. You see, unlike you guys, or maybe like you guys, I prepared for this conversation because I knew this was going to be like the biggest hot topic of them all. This
is your deal. Shawshank. You're the producer of this.
Yeah,
you deserve all the credit or all the
because this is where it draws the generational gap. Is like it's sad to say that the generational gap of cinema is 1990 fucking 4. It's literally a generational gap. It's even more sad that people that like our contemporaries, our peers, they won't know about. Okay, you want to know the proudest moment of my life? And I don't want to get too far off tangent. I really don't. I really, really fucking don't. But I think, and I'm an atheist, but I'll say as much. I'm doing the goddamn Lord's work right now. My 7-year-old daughter, my youngest daughter, okay, sat through the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with me last night, and she didn't close her eyes once.
Are you talking about the original or the remake?
The OG, baby. Toby Hooper and Kim Henkel. She sat through the OG. You got to
get her. You got to get her to sit through Texas Chainsaw 2, actually, with the whole.
Oh, that believe me when I say that's next on the fucking list.
That'll be great.
Because I told her, you think this is scary or you think this is intense. You haven't seen part 2. You just don't know. But the point is, okay, I didn't see Chainsaw until I was 11. My daughter just bested me at something. My daughter saw it before I did.
I try, yeah. You know what? I try to show my daughter movies too. She's not as big into movies as I am. There's a handful of movies that she loves that I love.
But again, this is the argument, and whatever we're saying is called. We all had this big 1994 was the generation. That's what brought together, Generation X. That's what brought together millennials, and that's what brings together Gen Z. We all, at least these 3 generations, agree that Pulp Fiction is like the movie that changed it for everybody. It changed everything.
1994, the movie that changed it for everybody. It's Pat.
Yeah, but she was in Pulp Fiction too, so that counts.
That's true. That's true.
Julie Sweeney.
Well, you know what? Since we've gotten over the whole bitching, let's just get on to one more topic because
I got something. I wanted to say the thing that was going to blow the lid off of everything. Okay.
Okay.
To blow the lid off of everything. It was going to be the 56th Annual Academy Awards, which was in 1984. The Best Picture nominees were Tender Mercies.
I already fucking know, baby. Right Stuff should have won over.
No.
Really?
The one I have isn't even on the list. The nominees were Tender Mercies. Tender Mercies is a fine little intimate drama. Robert Duvall was wonderful. Right Stuff, good movie. 3 hours long. The Dresser, I think that's Albert Finney. That's one of those British movies. The Big Chill, and then Terms of Endearment, which won. Terms of Endearment was the big winner for that year.
I think that's the best movie of. Well, no, wait a minute. Right Stuff is probably better because I like.
But what I have for you is not even on the list. The best movie, the movie that should have been nominated, the movie that was very, very important to my childhood, very important to my upbringing, an incredible spoof and parody, and a kind of a turning back to the golden age of Hollywood and the golden age of screwball comedies. Trading Places should have won Best Picture. It should have gotten Best Actor, Best Actress for Jamie Lee. It should have gotten Best Director for John Landis. It should have gotten Best Screenplay. It was completely ignored. I don't even know that they even put it up for consideration. And there is
me and Anderson are both speechless.
It is the greatest movie that Eddie Murphy ever made.
You cut this together.
It is one of the greatest movies that Dan Aykroyd ever made. It's an incredible story, and it leaves you feeling good, and it leaves you wanting more. Every other one of these movies, they're okay, but I don't.
So hold on, Anderson, before you chime in. So, according to Lawler's logic, The Dark Knight should have won Best Picture in 2009. At least mine holds water.
No, Dark Knight should not have won. Batman should have won, the original Tim Burton, but otherwise,
whatever.
What I was going to say was, I think, when we have that long pregnant pause, you're going to have to put in all the sort of confused person, like. I guess,
if you want to put me up there with Ford Fairlane, go ahead. There it is. Ford Fairlane is to Freilich what Trading Places is to me. That's how I see it.
This might not be on Freilich's list, but it's probably on his personal list. Heaven's Gate in there somewhere, right?
Well, no, not in that state.
That movie.
No, but the problem with Heaven's Gate is not in the state that the film was in 1982, 83. It was not cleaned up. It did not look the way it looks in the Criterion. If you had presented that movie as it was intended, the way Cimino intended in the Criterion release, then yes, it might have had a shot.
It's the original release. The first release before they cut it down was it whatever the long length is. So that would have
Yeah,
been the
over almost 4 hours. Almost 4
that they could have submitted to the Oscars was that original first cut. That's the director's cut, and it would have been submitted. Now, of course, all the politics around it.
Well,
kinda-
actually, Anderson, that one was the one that was submitted, unfortunately.
Oh,
Because what you have to remember, the original premiere was in December of '81, and that was the Oscar premiere, so it could be, up for nominations.
yeah,
Which it was
out for a couple-
nominated. It was nominated,
that
but
version
not
out for at least a couple of weeks before they pulled it, and then put the short one in, like at least
Yeah.
for the rest of the year, at least or something. Yeah,
the very first release that ever came out was the award run, because it only ever played for a week in New York. It only ever played for 1 week before Cimino pulled it.